Greetings, Stash Wyslouch here. Today's quick tip, another approach to deriving chord scales. When you land on a chord X and you're not sure what scale to play on, what do? So in the past we've outlined it like this. We decide we're going to play a 7-note scale. We land on a chord like A7, so we know 4 of those 7 notes will be the chord tones of A7, A, C sharp, E, and G. And then I said you have any option of a B, any option of a D, could be a D sharp, could be a D natural. You have any option of an F, could be an F natural, it could be an F sharp, and then you just fill in the blanks with whatever you like. Now here's an approach on a tune like Alabama Jubilee. You're in the key of C. The first chord is an A7. You have A7 for 4 bars. From what group of notes will you pick to make melodies? So we go with our previous method. We have an A, a C sharp, E, and a G. That's a given. Those are the chord tones of the A7. Those have to be represented in the chord scale. With what notes will we fill in the cracks between the chord tones? The notes that come from C major. So in between the A and the C sharp, there's got to be some kind of B, A, B, C. What B is it going to be? Is it going to be a B flat? No, it's going to be a B natural. Why? Because that B natural occurs in the C major scale. In between the C sharp and the E, are we going to do a D sharp? No, we're going to do a D natural. Why? Because that note is in the C major scale. In between the E and the G, are we going to do an F or an F sharp? We're going to do an F. Why? Because it came from the key of C. So if you look at those notes, we have an A, B, C sharp, D, E, F, G, and an A. That's interesting. What scale is that? It's actually a Mixolydian flat 6. Hey, that's a very cool scale that you can mess around with. Today we're just going to be talking theory, not so much practical application. The theory is a good place to start to know what you actually want to do practical applications to. We never actually really leave the key. We're just in these kind of nether dominant regions that are slowly pushing us back to home base. A7, going to D7, going to G, going back to C. So for example, the D7, what chord scale will we play? So 4 of the notes of the chord scale are going to be this: D, F sharp, A, and C, the 4 chord tones. With what notes will we fill in the cracks? What will be the 2, 4, and 6 in the scale? The 2, it's got to be some kind of E, so it's going to be an E natural. Why? Because that's in the home base, in the home key, C. Between the F sharp and the A, we're going to do a G, because it's from the home key, C. Between the A and the C, we're going to do a B natural. So what scale is that? D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. D Mixolydian. Interesting. G7 is easy in this case because it naturally occurs in C major scale, so it's just going to be a G Mixolydian. Basically, you could think of scales, these chord scales, as just chord tones with passing notes in between, and we're just deciding which passing tones we're going to use. This is one interesting method. Let me give you one other example. We're in the key of F, Sweet Georgia Brown. The first chord is a D7. So we're going to have a D, F sharp, A, and a C represented. Since our home key is F, we're going to fill in the cracks with notes from the F major scale. So between the D and the F sharp, it's going to be an E. Between the F sharp and the A, it's going to be a G. Between the A and the C, it's going to be a B flat. Again, we have this Mixolydian flat 6. Now in terms of actually getting comfortable with something called Mixolydian flat 6, that's the topic of another quick tip. But for now we have a nice pen and paper way to assign the good notes from which we could choose to make our own melodies and improvisation. Are these the only scales that work against these chords in this exact situation? Of course not. It's just one starting place where we can get some interesting ideas to practice new sounds we're not necessarily familiar with. Please consider becoming a patron on my Patreon page. You can then attend supplemental workshops that go much more into depth with these ideas and of course allow things like questions, interactions, and exchange. And if you'd like to take private lessons, please send me an email. My schedule is quickly filling up for the fall. So we'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.